Hello everyone, and welcome back to VT. We're not at the castle this time, because if I had to stare at that place for 2 weeks in a row, I'd probably go even more mad in the head than I already am. And while somewhat mad Dan is fine, any more mad and we'd be skirting around some pretty risky territory. And nobody wants that. Trust me. So instead we're back over here at the factory, to check on the progress of our infinite biofuel supply. And as you can see, yeah, it's coming along. I think that's layer 7 that's filling up right now, so it's definitely getting there. Between episodes, I've made a very effective alteration to the supply chain that has completely fixed the running out of seed oil issue we've been having. In fact, we're now producing more seed oil than the machine is capable of using at any given time. But I'm sure we can find a use for anything that's left over at the end. I don't know, we could cook a load of chips in it or something. Of course, the second you fix one supply issue, you end up with another one to replace it. In this case, the sugar we need to mix into the biofuel concoction. As I mentioned previously, I've been bone mealing sugarcane to rapidly grow what we need and then running it through the grinder to keep the machine fed. But it's using that much that I've completely run out of bones to make bone meal with. So it's looking like I might have to make that sugarcane farm after all. But first, let me zip over to the farm and show you that fix to the seed oil problem I mentioned. If you remember, the problem we were having is that it's winter, and most of our farm crops don't grow this season. Well, after a bit of rummaging through the mods we have installed, I found a quite elegant solution to that little issue. And it all comes down to these little flame particles that are dancing about all over the place. They're being generated by a group of these Fabric Seasons Extra crop heaters that I've installed in the field. And they do exactly what it says on the tin. Heat up the surrounding area to a temperature the crops are comfortable to grow in. All I've got to do is make sure to keep them fed with enough combustible materials to burn, and we can grow crops all year round. Which means specifically, we can grow wheat that give a high yield and also reliably provide seeds. So it's like a 2-for-1. Every harvest we get a decent amount of seeds to convert to oil, but also fresh wheat to feed into the biomatter mixers. It's a win-win. Before we go on, I just thought I'd show you the little modification I made to the zombie skeleton farm. Since it seems like the Create Enchantment Industries team have no intention of updating it to work with Create 1.5.1F on 119.2, I've taken out all the experience gathering components and added in this simple item filter. Now only bones, rotten flesh, and the occasional level up tome get through to the chest, and anything else gets dumped into a lava pool. So now it's basically a bone meal farm, which is a shame because I much preferred it when it was an XP farm. You hear that, CEI developers? A tiny, unmonetized, barely watched YouTuber with no idea how hard it would be to implement wants you to update your free mod so he can grind XP again, and use his incoming infinite supply of biofuel to actually do something. So, you know, best get your finger out before my legion of followers shake their heads disappointedly at you or something. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Well, that's all done.
Damn right it did. Alright, enough fanning about. Let's gather up the little bit of sugarcane we have and go get us a sugarcane farm constructed. VT style.
It's one that barely works then.
Yeah. Right, let's get this started. First, we're going to dig a 6-long trench because that's all the sugarcane we have. And we'll push the whole back one because you can't plant sugarcane if it's not got water on the adjacent block. Bosh in a line of dirt. Like that. And we'll just cheekily rob a couple of buckets of water out of the boiler trench. So we can fill up our new farm trench. And it's that cold it's frozen already. Tremendous. Editor Dan here. Ignore that candelabra I just placed, it's actually a copper lantern, but Replay Mod had other ideas. It also thinks the quartz glass in the biofuel tank is lanterns, so there's that. Right, so next we'll put in a gantry shaft here. Although thinking on it might be better on the other side so I can tap power off the rubber machine. No, not dirt, genius. There we go. Gantry carriage here. And I'm going to need a load of iron plates for mechanical harvesters. Bishty bashty boshty. And indeed, boosh. Okay, so if I just do a line of andesite casings, and then strap a row of harvesters to that, Really just need to get power to the gantry line and we'd be all but in business at that point. Yeah, we can tap power from right here. And Robert's your mother's brother. And powered on. Good progress today, team. But it's night time now. I'm off to bed, and tomorrow we'll get some control installed. The next morning I experimented with putting a sequenced gear shift at the end of a gantry rail. Fun fact, doesn't work. Voxel tails. Dan fails, so you don't have to. Right, so it has to go on the powered end. Who'd have thought? So we'll just swap this in here. And the gearbox. Connect it with a bit of chain drive, and we should be good. Yeah. Okay, now we get some storage on here. I get it all glued together. Lovely job. Nice. So now if I put a very disgruntled observer here, facing the right way preferably, like that, and we put a redstone link here, and a receiver over here, just set the frequencies to Sugarcane, seems appropriate. Likewise for this one. Boosh! So now every time the one in front of the observer grows, it'll trigger the machine and harvest anything that's grown. It is, as the French say, fantastique. Right, so last thing we need is an unloader, so storage interface there. Glue that on. And then storage drawer. And a chute. Oh, hang on, needs to be one away, doesn't it?
Dan?
Hang on, I'm just positioning the storage interface. Right, what?
That's 2 blocks apart.
That's 2 blocks apart. Why didn't you say something?
I tried!
Well, try harder next time.
How about thee tries not cocking it up next time?
There, that's better. No thanks to you. In a bid to make the farm more efficient, I opted to add an extra row of sugarcane. Which meant extending the gantry, and getting another torch down, because apparently it's just that cold over here. One quick update to the gear settings to accommodate the extra travel, and everything looked to be good to go. Except they were, in fact, not good to go. For some reason, the machine would stop and retract as soon as it came into contact with some sugarcane. This meant that if there was sugarcane in the first row, which there had to be in order for the machine to trigger, it would harvest that row and reset, leaving the second row. I tried removing and replacing the gear shift in case it had glitched. No. I tried increasing the travel distance in case it just needed to be powered for longer. No. I tried manually firing the machine with nothing in the first row, and then it would extend to the second, harvest it, and come back. But if something was in the first row, then it was having none of it. Alright, I fixed it. It's like it needs a sec to get up to speed, and if something interrupts it, then it can't get going. So I just shifted everything forward 1 block, and now it seems happy to harvest both rows of sugarcane, so I'm calling it a success and not worrying about it anymore. Did you see it? That little pause it did? Well, it was hitting the first row during that pause and giving up. But now it's fine. And fine means I can move on, even if it is still bothering me that it did it at all. Nah, whatever. Ooh, 100 sugarcane already. Right, I'm gonna go top up the biofuel maker and we'll do something else. Okay, I lied. We're not moving on because I spotted a flaw in the machine and I need to fix it. I know, a flaw in something I designed. Believe me, I'm as shocked as you are. Anyway, right now, if any of the sugarcane grows 3 tall before harvesting, then the top bit isn't getting collected, it's just bobbing about on top of the machine or getting dumped on the floor. But it's an easy fix, we just need to add another row of harvesters. Edit it down, if you will. Boom! 1 block taller and it should be lossless now. Or as close to lossless as anything I build is. Good enough for me. Remember this? We made this Tech Reborn rubber maker a couple of episodes back. Probably the most efficient thing I've ever made. Well, I've laid us out a new area so we can expand our Tech Reborn activities. Because the way I figure things, modded Minecraft is about options. All these mods exist to give us options, so if we aren't using them, then we're not exploring all the options. So the plan today is to make some Tech Reborn bits. Not to make anything specific, just to get an idea of some of the stuff that's available. I mean, in fairness, we've collected quite a few Tech Reborn bits and bobs over the course of the series, so it's not like we're starting from nothing. In fact, we've got that grinder we made and a spare generator, so we get a little bit of a head start. Yeah, and we also have these overclocker upgrades we made for it. See? We're doing great already. Okay, we'll set up our stuff over here for now, I suppose. And a generator. Needs coal. Yeah, we're not screwing around with that. We are gonna use... what are they called again? Alternators. We're gonna make a wall of alternators and plonk the components on it. For now, anyway. Oh, and I have 3 made already, because I'm a professional of professionalism. Okay, let's get these set up here. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Gonna need to run power up through here. Bop, bop, bop. That'll work. And then we can stack them up. Beautiful. Alright, what else can we make? Alloy smelter, assembling machine, auto crafting table, chemical reactor, compressor. Oh, we already have an extractor. Distillation tower. Crap loads then. The answer is we can make crap loads. Starting off simple, I opted to make an electric furnace, which first required me to make an iron furnace. And as an iron alloy smelter was 2 iron furnaces combined with refined iron, I made one of those as well. Alright, 2 more machines built and installed. Go team! Of course it would help if they were connected to power. One moment. And that's how we did. Soon after this, I realised the iron alloy smelter we just made could easily be upgraded by combining it with a pair of electric furnaces. So that was clearly something that was going to happen right away. Gonna need a few more of you. And a bosh. Next up, I bulk blasted 4 stacks of refined iron, which were immediately used to make more electronic circuits, and then advanced circuits. Sadly, I couldn't make industrial circuits because they needed an assembling machine and platinum plates that I didn't have yet. So instead I made a compressor and an auto crafting table. You're probably going to need a bit of space down the line, so I'll just pop you over here for now. But you should be fine to join all the other bits and bobs. Next up, I mechanically crafted some more alternators. And got them linked up so we can power even more new stuff. Some of which required I make advanced machine frames, which needed advanced alloy plates and carbon plates to manufacture. Advanced alloy plates needed advanced alloy ingots to be processed in a compressor, and advanced alloy ingots were made from smelting mixed metal ingots, of which there were over 30 varieties consisting of different metal combinations. A lot of them used bronze as a base, which I could make by combining tin and copper in the alloy smelter I just made. To speed the process along, I made a few more of those overclocker modules. And once I had a decent amount of bronze, I opted for a nickel, bronze and zinc combo for the mixed ingots, which were then bulk blasted into advanced alloy and compressed into plates. To make carbon plates, I had to compress carbon mesh, which was made from carbon fibre, that itself was made from coal dust. And conveniently, I had some of that left over from when we made those nigh-on useless solar panels. Okay, so carbon fibre to carbon mesh, and bosh those in the compressor to make carbon plates. Then finally, after all that dicking about, we can make a whole 3 advanced machine frames. And after making another extractor real quick, I can make us an industrial centrifuge, which in the very least sounds impressive and important. Speaking of impressive and important sounding, the next thing I looked into making was this fluid replicator, which appeared to be constructed from some very expensive and late-game looking parts. It also needed something called UU matter to function, which was itself made by a matter fabricator, the components for which were equally expensive. Like this Lapatronic energy orb, that's made from these Lapatron crystals. They're made from lazurite plates, the dust for which you get by running lapis through an industrial centrifuge. And I don't have a ton of lapis. Oh, but I do kind of know where I could get some. Yeah, see, there's a lapis geode in the More Geodes mod. And if I can track one down, we can have unlimited lapis. Okay, so highest percentage of spawning is at Y11. Right, I need to check something. I'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, check-in has occurred. According to the mod webpage, lapis geodes generate abundantly in deserts. So, in case things get a little on the destructive side, I've flown around and located a decent-sized desert that's also a good ways away from home, so we don't end up with a potential eyesore right on our doorstep. So let's get digging. Now yeah, there's a pillager outpost there, but that's not our problem right now. So we're digging I went. Right into a creeper, who must have misjudged its range somehow, because it missed me completely. Excuse me? Why are there so many creepers down here? Well, whatever, back to digging. So as long as they weren't lying about these geodes being abundant, this really shouldn't take that long at all. Especially with the infinite 3x3 Paxel we've got on the go. Hello, what do we got here then? Whoa! Haha, just what we were looking for. Right, no mucking about, let's get this budding block out of here. Yoink. Right, home, James. Very good, sir. Just as the sun's going down, you'll love to see it. I think we'll put you on this gypsum one for now. Honestly, might have to relocate this crystal area entirely soon, because we're running out of room. Beautiful. Unlimited lapis achieved. The next morning, I chucked some of the lapis into the industrial centrifuge and made a bit of lazurite dust. We're still a long ways off being able to make some of those fancier components, but it felt good to know that we'd made steps in the right direction. Afterwards, I turned my attention back to making machines and settled on an industrial electrolyzer. Guess we're doubtlessly going to need to electrolyze something at some point. Conveniently, we already had all the parts besides a couple of cheap-to-make extractors. So a couple of minutes later, it was being added to our Tech Reborn wall. After that, I made a recycler, a rolling machine, and a solid canning machine to our collection, because they all sound useful. Naturally, I got them hooked up to power, goes without saying. We also experimented with the recycler by chucking in a stack of cobblestone. Turns out it randomly converts whatever you put in into scrap. 9 of which could be turned into a scrap box. And I used one of those to make a scrap boxinator. Doofenshmirtz would be proud. Finally for this week, I discovered lava cells could be put into the centrifuge and they would produce copper and electrum ingots. And considering we have an infinite lava supply, that meant we could also have an infinite copper and electrum supply. So I faffed around making a basic tank unit, which required me to make a basic storage unit, which itself needed a basic display and crude storage unit. But as this episode is already going long, you'll just have to take my word that I made all that stuff legitimately. And then yeah, I connected it up to the infinite lava supply, so the Tech Reborn area has its own little lava stash. And all this because you can't just extract lava into a Tech Reborn empty cell from a Create tank. Oh no, it has to be a Tech Reborn tank. Because f*** me, that's why. Alright, that's it for this week. This Tech Reborn stuff's a bit involved, isn't it? Probably going to leave it for a bit for now. Well, unless this video does gangbusters, and then I suppose we'll be turning into a Tech Reborn channel. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed the show, then help the channel out by subscribing and leaving us a cheeky like and a comment below. I've been Dan, this has been Voxel Tales, and until next time remember, be good. And if you can't be good, don't get caught. Bye guys.